Let me describe a scene that happened to you sometime in the last week. Maybe yesterday. Maybe today. You're walking down the street, or through a grocery store, or across a parking lot. You see someone you know. Not a close friend. Not family. Just an acquaintance. Someone you'd have to stop and make small talk with. And you don't have the energy. You're tired. You're busy. You just don't want to. So what do? You pull out your phone. You hold it to your ear. And you start talking to no one. You don't even need real words. Just nod. Say a hi every few seconds. Maybe throw in an I know, right? The other person sees you on the phone. They walk right past. Sometimes they even wave, but they don't stop. Because everyone knows you don't interrupt someone on a phone call. You've done this. Everyone I know has done this. And for years, I thought it was just me being antisocial, or rude, or weird. But then I started paying attention. How many people do this? Why does it work so well? And why does it feel so good when you get away with it? So I looked it up. And it turns out, there's real psychology and neuroscience here. And it's not about being rude. It's about your brain protecting you from low-grade social threat. Let me walk you through it. First, you need to understand something called face threat sensitivity. That's a fancy way of saying your brain treats unwanted social interaction as a mild danger. Not like a lion, but like a small, annoying cost. Your brain is constantly calculating, is this conversation worth the energy? Most of the time, the answer is yes. You talk to the cashier. You nod at a neighbor. Fine. But when you're tired, or stressed, or in a hurry, your brain says, not worth it, avoid. The problem is, you can't just ignore someone. That's rude. That's a bigger social cost than the conversation itself. So your brain needs an excuse. A reason to not talk that doesn't make you look bad. The fake phone call is the perfect excuse. It's socially acceptable. It's believable. And it requires almost no effort. You're not avoiding them, you're just busy. The phone is proof. Here's the key insight. Your brain isn't trying to be deceptive, it's trying to minimize social friction. The fake phone call is a friction reduction tool. It's like oil on a squeaky hinge. You're not lying, you're lubricating, but here's where it gets really interesting. The fake phone call works because of a universal social rule. A person on the phone is unavailable. You don't interrupt. You don't make eye contact. You walk by quietly. This rule is so strong that people will literally cross the street to avoid walking near someone. On a phone call, researchers have studied this. They put people on fake phone calls in busy walkways. Almost everyone gave them extra space. Almost everyone avoided eye contact. The phone is a force field. A bubble of do not disturb. So when you fake a phone call, you're not just fooling one person. You're exploiting a deeply ingrained social norm that almost everyone follows. The norm does the work for you. Now, let me tell you about the time I tested this on myself. I decided to fake a phone call in a busy coffee shop. No reason. Just to see what would happen. I held my phone to my ear and said nothing. Just nodded. Made sounds. 3 people who knew me walked past. All 3 smiled and waved. None stopped. One even mouthed call me later. It worked perfectly. Then I put my phone down. The same 3 people were still nearby. One came over and started talking to me. The conversation was fine, but I had successfully avoided it earlier. Not because I don't like them, but because I didn't have the energy. That's the thing, the fake phone call isn't about rejecting people, it's about managing your own energy. Your brain knows how many social spoons you have left when you're running low. It looks for ways to conserve. The fake phone call is conservation. It's a low effort, high reward strategy. You avoid an awkward conversation. The other person doesn't feel rejected. Everyone wins. But here's the part that blew my mind. This behavior isn't new. Before smartphones, people used newspapers. They'd hold a newspaper in front of their face on the train or the bus. Same function. I'm busy. Don't talk to me. Before newspapers, people pretended to be reading letters. Before that, they'd stare intently at a book. Before that, they'd pretend to be looking for something, scanning the horizon, checking their pockets. The prop changes, the behavior doesn't. Humans have always needed a way to signal not available for conversation without being rude. The fake phone call is just a 21st century version. There's a study from the University of Sussex that looked at this exact behavior. Researchers observed people in public spaces and coded their avoidance strategies. The fake phone call was the most common strategy among people under 40. Among people over 60, pretending to read something was more common. But the underlying mechanism was the same. Everyone was trying to signal an availability. The signal just looked different. Now, let me talk about the dark side. Some people use the fake phone call to actively avoid people they don't like. That's different. That's not energy management. That's rejection. And it can hurt. If you fake a phone call to avoid someone you actually want to avoid, consider being honest. Or at least wave and say sorry, can't talk. The fake call is polite. But it's still a lie. A small lie. But a lie. Most of us use it for the right reasons. We're tired. We're overwhelmed. We need a minute of quiet. And that's okay. Here's a weird thing I noticed. When I fake a phone call and someone catches me, like they see my phone isn't actually on a call, there's a moment of mutual recognition. They smile, I smile. We both know. And somehow, that moment feels better than a real conversation. Why? Because we've both done it. It's a secret we share. The fake phone call is a universal human experience. It connects us in our shared awkwardness. So the next time you're walking down the street and you see someone you'd rather not talk to, don't feel guilty if you reach for your phone. You're not being rude. You're not being antisocial. You're just running a very old, very effective piece of social software that humans have used for centuries. The prop changes. The need doesn't. That's the weird thing I learned today. Hey, if you've ever pretended to be on a phone call to avoid someone, you're not alone. And if you want more weird explanations for everyday social glitches, hit subscribe. I read the papers so you don't have to. No self-help nonsense. Just curiosity. Thanks for pretending to listen. Now go put your phone down or don't. I won't judge. See you next time.